World of Warcraft's profession system looks like an airplane cockpit. A lot of people just close the window and walk away. In this video, I'm breaking down the parts that actually matter. Specializations, crafting orders, material quality, sparks, and optional reagents. And in the end, I'm going to go ahead and craft an item step by step so you can see how all of this comes together and it takes the guesswork out of something that you're creating and turns it into something predictable. Now, this isn't a min-max guide. This is the foundation so you can stop feeling lost every time you open the profession window. Okay, so we go in game. We go ahead and open up a crafting window, in this case, leatherworking. Down here at the bottom, you can see we've got 3 main tabs. You have recipes, it's where you actually craft stuff. Specializations, it's where you unlock passive bonuses and pick your lane. And then you have crafting orders. It's where you take or place commissions for crafting. Up at the top, you've got your tool and accessory slots. Over here, you've got your concentration counter and then your experience points here. And you can click here and you can pick whichever version of leatherworking you need to do. So if you wanted to make something from classic, click on classic, you've got all your recipes here. But we're worried about the most recent stuff, so we'll go with the Kaz Algar here. First, we're going to talk about specializations. Specializations are WoW's way of saying pick a lane and get good at it. Each profession has multiple trees, and you earn knowledge points, and then you spend them to unlock passive bonuses, like better quality, cheaper crafts, specific recipe bonuses, that kind of thing. Your current unspent knowledge shows right here, and there are ways to earn more through quests, drops, or whatever Blizzard decides for the next expansion. So as you can see here, I have 1 unspent tailoring knowledge. So now I can come over here and I can pick where I want to spend it based on the trees that I have opened up. Some of them open up at different levels. You have to reach a certain point before some of them will unlock. And then at these different levels here, that's where those bonuses come in. As you fill this bar, you get more bonuses. So you pick the one you want to spend it in. Let's say I want to spend it on quality fabric, or let's say I want to spend it on weaving and unraveling. So I click that and it changes the window over here to weaving and unraveling. And then you click apply knowledge. You can see it popped it up right there a little bit. And I click apply changes. There you go. You can think of your specializations kind of like talent trees. You pick your lane, you pick something you want to get really good at, and that's where you spend your points. If you really want to go deep into the weeds on what each specialization for what each profession does, highly recommend checking out Wowhead. There's another one called wowprofessions.com. They've got great guides that'll walk you through each one, what each one does, and how you can use it. But if you completely scuff your choices, there's a way to reset them. It's kind of like the I had no idea what I was doing, please fix it button. Currently in the War Within, the place to get it fixed is right here in Dornogal. Talk to Darla Fluxy, the Consortium Knowledge Master. She'll give you the option you can reset your specializations. You can do it once per profession. So if I want to reset my tailoring, maybe I spent that point wrong, click that. This window pops up. You can only do it 1 time. If I click yes, boom. Now I go back into my professions and I take a look at my tailoring. I have 19 points to spend. And you're starting from scratch. And the other tab we have down here is crafting orders. You can see there's public, guild, patron, and personal orders. Public orders are just that, but I'm fairly certain that these are realm specific. I don't think you can do public crafting orders across servers at this time. And honestly, I don't know that I know that I've never used a public crafting order. Doesn't mean they're not useful. Guild orders just are exactly what they sound like. If you're in a guild and you place an order, it'll show up under here. So if any of my guildies had placed an order and it was something I can make, it would be up in here. Personal orders, that's where if you need to make something for an alt, you would go on your alt, create the crafting order, and send it specifically to your character, and it would show up here. And then patron orders, these are another way you can level up your crafting, your professions. You do these and you get rewarded with, like in this case, this Artisan's Consortium payout contains some little handy things, but you're also going to get like this right here, this glimmer of leatherworking knowledge. So that would increase my leatherworking knowledge by 2, which would mean if I go under my specializations, I would have 2 points to spend. And I could show you where you can place these orders. So we're in Dornagal. So if you come over here in Dornagal and talk with Clerk Gretel, and you can start a recraft order or start a crafting order for anything you want here. Housing decor, weapons, armor, you name it. You can search for specific ones. You can go through here. So you find the one you want created. We'll say the Sky Fury headdress, for example. These are the reagents I would need to have in order to send this order over. You choose here. You can make it a public order. You can make it a guild order or a personal order. And then you just type the character name in here, who you want to send the personal order to. You can enter a little note here. There always has to be a commission. You can't leave that part blank. How long the order will be in effect. And then once you have everything, you place the order. It's that simple. Okay, now we're going to talk about tools, stats, and material quality. So your tools and accessories go up here. Your tools and accessory slots at the top, they're permanent. Once you equip them, they just live there. They boost things like your skill, resourcefulness, your inspiration, all of these things here, basically. If I open up my skinning, you can see the different skills: finesse, deftness, perception. I'm not going to turn this into a math class. Just know the bigger the numbers you have here, the easier time you'll have hitting higher quality or gathering resources or saving resources. Another thing too is that materials also have quality. For example, this chitin armor banding, you can see the diamonds. All right, that means it's medium quality. This one right here, it's got one little copper colored one. That's the lowest quality one. If you've got something with 3, that makes it the highest quality. You can refine lower quality mats into higher quality ones, but it takes several of one to make another. For example, if I wanted to refine this Algari chitin, I could pick, it takes 5 of the lower quality chitins to make the mid quality ones, and so on and so forth. Pretty straightforward. And quality does come into play when crafting, but I'll show you that once we get into actually crafting something. So then when you're looking at your recipes, you're going to find some that require sparks, and then you've got these optional reagents down here. So sparks are seasonal limited mats that massively boost your item level. You can think of them as supercharged crafting fuel that only exists for that reason. Currently, we've got the Spark of Starlight. And you can see there that it sets the item level based on crafting quality of 678 to 691. Last season, it was the Spark of Fortunes. It was something different before the season before that. And I'm sure with Midnight, it's going to be something completely different. Now, the optional reagents. This is where you can further boost the stats and eye level. You can even specify stats using your optional reagents. And you got a few main categories here. First, you've got Infused with Power, and that's where you'll use things that are known as enchanted crests. And enchanted crests have to match up with the spark that you're using. For example, the enchanted runed ethereal crest needs the Spark of Starlight to be put in for that one to be usable. You can purchase the enchanted crests from Cyanite right here in Dornagal. So you can see here you've got some different choices. You've got enchanted weathered ethereal crests, runed ethereal crests, or enchanted gilded ethereal crests. And each one costs a number of the corresponding crests that you get doing delves, doing dungeons. The same crests you use to upgrade your gear are what you use to buy these. And what these enchanted crests do is they boost the eye level, which in turn boosts all the stats that the item you're creating will have. Next, we've got embellishments, and there's a whole slew of different ones, as you can see here, and each one does something a little bit different. You can purchase these from the auction house. For example, like this one here, when damaged at low health, unleashes Starlight to shield yourself. So essentially, whatever item you put this in, when you hit a certain level of health, it's gonna automatically pop a shield around you. This one right here, while you're above a certain health level, you gain a boost to your critical strike. This one here, you're getting a boost to your versatility. So you kind of pick which one you want based on your role or your spec. Then you've got customized secondary stats. So if we look here, currently, if I were to create this glyph etched guys, it would just give me 815 of 2 different random stats. I have no say over what those are going to be. But if you go on the auction house, or if you have the ability to create these yourself and find these Algari missives, and that, again, that name may change with midnight, you can pick which stats you want based on your role. So if you're doing a lot of DPS, you probably want critical strike and haste. Whereas if you're a tank, you probably want a lot of versatility and mastery. What this will do, though, if I add this into this slot, it'll guarantee that those random stats are replaced with exactly what it says on this missive. And then the last optional reagent you have is called Augment Beyond. These use these augmentation matrices. Basically, it increases the item level beyond what you could initially do it with the enchanted crests and your spark. And you get those from the same lady you got the enchanted crest from. And over here, you've got finishing reagents, and there's a smattering of different ones you can choose from here. And what these will do is just, it helps you increase the skill level of whatever you're trying to make. And then finally, you've got over here your concentrate. So this will apply the concentration that you have built up to your next recipe to guarantee the next quality for this recipe. And I'll show you how all that works here in just a moment. Basically, though, the way to think about all of these optional and finishing reagents, all of this stacks on top of your base materials. So your base materials get you in the door, and then these optional reagents decide how fancy that final product is. So let's put this all together and let's craft. We're going to do a glyph etched guys, because I haven't crafted this yet. So as you can see right here, it says first craft. So what that means is that I'm going to be getting a little bonus. Basically, I'm going to get a knowledge point for crafting this for the first time. So we'll look at the base stats, right? If I were just to create this right now as is, the item level is 596. Like you can see the stats there. So to show you how this works in real time, right now I've got kind of a smattering of qualities going on here, right? You can see this one's got all 3 different diamonds on it. You left click on whichever mat, so the writhing hides, you can see how many you have and which ones you're using, right? So right now I've got 3 of the lowest quality selected. So I'm going to go ahead and up that to the highest quality. We're at 599. If I go to my Gloom Chitin, I'm going to make these 0, and I'm going to use 150 of my highest quality ones. We're up to item level 602. If I switch this one to the highest level, still 602. But you can see how that changes based on the quality materials you use. So now we need to add our spark. Spark of Omens, that was from Season 1. I don't have any of those. I've got a couple of Spark of Fortunes, and I've got a Spark of Starlight. We're going to go with Spark of Starlight. So just by adding the Spark of Starlight, it boosts it to 687. So if we take that out, it was 602 before. We add it, 687. I'm not a mathematician, but that's a lot more than 602. And I could create this right now if I wanted to. And we would have a level 687 with random stats. Nothing to sneeze at. It's pretty good piece. But we want to make it exactly what we want. So we come down here to our optional reagents. And as you can see, like I said before, you can only use the enchanted crests that go with the spark. In this case, I've got a ruined ethereal crest or an enchanted gilded ethereal crest. So if we put a gilded ethereal crest in there, along with the Spark of Starlight, we're up to 716 now. From a base of, what was it, 602? So we're already leaps and bounds ahead of where we were before. So now we can add an embellishment, right? In the embellishment, I currently have Dusk Thread Lining. So while I'm at 80% health or above, I gain a boost to my versatility with this one. So we add that in, and if I look at the item again, you can see there it says equip. Your gear cools with woven dusk thread and gains 756 versatility when over 80% health. So it's a built-in quality now of this item. Next, we're going to customize our secondary stats. Because right now, we're getting 1364 of 2 random stats. But I want haste and critical strike. So we add that in, And now it's going to give me critical strike and haste, guaranteed. So we're at level 716. And if I add one of these matrices, I've got one. I've got a Gilded Starlight Matrix. Puts us up to item level 723, which is nothing to sneeze at. In fact, it's better than the one I'm wearing right now. I don't have any finishing reagents, and that's okay. But we're going to look over here at this concentration bar. So right now, the expected quality is the 4 diamonds, which is pretty good. So I need to reach skill 410 to guarantee the highest quality, and that's that single gold pentagon looking thing. So I've got 1,000 concentration to use because my concentration is full. If I apply 629 concentration to this, it's going to guarantee that highest quality, and it's going to guarantee that my item level now on this item that I create will be a 727. So we went from a base quality of 602 using the highest quality mats and just a spark up to 727 using these optional reagents, guaranteed that I'm going to get critical strike and haste, and using my concentration I'm able to get it to 727, and then you just hit create. So for my first craft I received Artisan's Acuity, and I'll show you what we can do with that here in just a moment. And I gained some leatherworking knowledge because it's my first craft of this. So the Artisan's Acuity, I'll show you in my bag here, I've got 650 of them. And basically that's, you can think of it as kind of like currency, because you can come inside here to Lyrandal, and there's other folks around the world that will sell you things, but you can buy things like this. Exceptional, like this will give me 15 knowledge points in skinning for 300 of these. And then there's patterns you can buy using it. Like I said, it's kind of like currency to buy certain patterns. So it's good to have. So that's the modern profession system. Specializations, quality, sparks, optional reagents, and what it all looks like when it all comes together and you actually craft something. Like I said at the outset, this guide isn't meant to be a be-all, end-all of how to use the profession system. It's just a baseline so that you can build from this if and when it changes with new expansions, because they're probably going to use this same framework going forward. So if this took your profession anxiety from nope to, okay, I can do this, let me know down in the comments. And if you want more, I have no idea what I'm doing, but we'll figure this out together type videos, join the club, hit subscribe, and I'll see you in Azeroth.